And we're live. Hopefully, the sound is working gooder than it did last week. Hi, everybody. It is Two Guys, One Slot. I'm Corey, and just directly to my left is my best friend.
What up, guys? Bubba here.
Bubba's Picks 316. Make sure that you're hitting up that fantastic YouTube. Speaking of YouTube's,
what up, Sox?
Bubba's Picks 316, you are absolutely crushing the subscribers on your YouTube.
Go to there. Let's see what I'm averaging per day.
Let me
two or three per day.
2 or 3
subs a day. How do these people averaging 100 a day?
Don't know. There's a lot of folks that are doing that. Let me see here.
3 subs. Better than no subs.
A good Wednesday. Yeah, slow subs is better than no subs. Good to see everybody. Hi. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a hot one.
I was going to ask, while I'm looking this stuff up, how in God's name are you working?
It's been miserable.
God.
I've been chugging like bottled waters like this size. I got these things from Costco.
Dude.
I always knew what. Now I know what the players, like if you watch a sporting event and you see like after a guy rounds the bases or an NFL player, you know, he comes on the sidelines and he reaches in his little cooler and pulls out a bottled water that's like flavored. Now I know what he's drinking. And they're just, it's like a hydration packet.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I chug those. I mean, they really do help.
So have you been getting up early and going and working in the morning?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you've been
in
doing?
the heat. Then the heat hits about 2 o'clock, and I only have a few more jobs left. And if you don't start early
you ain't
at
getting
this
done.
time of year, you're screwed.
You ain't getting done.
It's just, what was it today? 103?
At least.
At least that's not even the heat index. That's just the temp. But
And it seemed cool today compared to what it has been this last, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
I'm rooting for next week, for the 90s.
Like low 60s. Did you see that in the night? It's supposed to be bitchin'.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for fall.
This hasn't updated yet, but you've got 5, right at 5.5, and you're averaging 7 a day and 50 a week.
Okay, that's
So
not bad.
if you go to like Vegas, Matt, let's see what he does.
He deserves to get that.
He's getting 1,000 followers a day.
No way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But he's good.
He's really really good.
What he does, he'll go in the high limit rooms. I saw, and he was at the Stratosphere, called the Strat, and he's like, we're going to go in the high limit room and do 10 spins on every machine. I mean, that shit, that deserves 1,000 subs a day.
I agree. It's good. And it's good content. He's entertaining. Mm-hmm. I like what he's doing.
Funny, yeah.
He got 35,200 subs in the month of May.
Hey, Vegas Matt, you got any more of those subs?
Yeah, get some of those subs. And he got 25,000, almost 26,000 in June. And in July, he got 23. So he peaked. So in May is when he really hit his stride. He had 14.7 million views channel wide, and then 12.5 million in June, and then July 11.4 million. So, I mean, that's good, but
we are.
You're trending in the right direction.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm getting like 3,000 views a day.
So
that's freaking huge for me.
In June, from June to July. Okay, so let's backtrack just a little bit. Let's for folks that don't know. So back kind of in April and May is when you were really starting to work, and your channel started to suffer a touch because you weren't putting any content and whatever. You were busy starting this business that you were doing. So I said I'd help do that. So from April to May, you had 35,000 views channel wide, and you got 180 subs. And then from May to June, you got 24,000. So about the middle of June end of June or end of May is kind of when I was like, okay, I'll help you. You got 24,000. So from June to July, you bumped all the way up to 46,000 views site-wide. And then from June to July, you doubled, 102,000.
Damn.
So you're getting some really kick-ass views throughout your whole channel. So from May to June, you only got 45 subs. And then from June to July, you got 160. And then from July to August, you got 220. So it's
going in the right direction.
You're trending correct. Come correct. You know, it's just a part of just putting out good content, being consistent with what you're doing, good thumbnails, good all sorts of that stuff. Yep. Cheryl, thank you so much for joining the 316 crew on YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. Everybody on YouTube, I can see the chat. Is the sound gooder than it was last week? Because it was brutal. So bad that it didn't even...
While we have you guys here, too, we just talked about it. We're going to do another challenge this weekend. Probably Friday. I don't know. Probably Friday night. Friday or Saturday.
It's got to be Friday. If we do it Saturday, it's got to be late because we have to go to a dinner Saturday. Okay. I'm still going to go to the casino, but it's just going to be late. So Friday'd probably be the...
We'll do that Friday, and then what we can do the following week, we're going to plan. We're trying to find a duo who will battle me and Corey next week.
Roulette Master is one of them, but he's out of town, so we're gonna hit him up. I've got another friend that wants to battle us. I've got some other folks that want to battle us. We've got some really good guests coming up on the show next week. We'll talk about that when it starts to happen. In the 2 weeks, we've got some pretty good guests in the slot world coming in, so that'll be cool. Cool to see. And, you know, speaking of which, hopefully the weather cools down for you, so you're not so...
if I made it tonight, I'll be good. Today, I did like 13 today.
Holy shit, 13? Seriously?
Crushed, man.
Damn, dude. That's a lot. Well, the good thing is you've got it leveled out, which is, you know, how to get there and how to get done.
Yeah, at the beginning, it was like how many times do we say this? Like a blind man in an orgy. We never use that. We need to find a new one.
Got to feel your way out.
What up, Georgia?
So I'm trying to think of things that happened in this last week. You know, some good folks passed away. We had Pee Wee Herman pass away, which he was battling cancer for 6 years and, you know, didn't tell anybody about it.
Yeah. What kind was it?
I didn't see.
Anyone know what kind Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, what kind of cancer he had?
Paging Mr. Herman. That was one of my favorite shows growing up.
I mean, the movies were great.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure was one of my favorite.
Yeah. Large Marge.
Was one of my favorite movies. You know, and he really, really stuck to that character that he developed in the 70s when he's in the Gramblings. And you know.
But how good was he in Blow?
That was really, really good. And that was part of the deal is you would always see him in Pee-wee's Big Adventure or Pee-wee's Playhouse, but you'd never see him, and he was really cool in other roles. He was a really good actor. But he passed away. Look, God, how old was he? I didn't even see how old he was.
That was brilliant, though, man. He invented Pee-wee.
Yeah,
I don't know the whole story, but
so he was in a troupe called the Groundlings that were based out of like Los Angeles. They were like an improv group, and he was in that, and who also I think was in there was Phil Hartman. So that's how Phil Hartman and he were very good friends. So the Pee-wee's Playhouse, Phil Hartman was in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah.
So
shit!
That's how those two became really good friends.
You just connected the dots.
I think that was like in the late '70s when he invented the Pee-wee. character. And then I think, when was Pee-wee's? I think 80s, late 80s is when Pee-wee's Big Adventure came out. And
Big Top Pee-wee.
Big Top Pee-wee was a good show.
What up, Jamie?
I don't really know too much about him other than but then you remember when he got caught beaten off in the theater?
Yeah.
The adult theater. Oh god, that was pretty funny.
Well, who else passed this week?
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
She was really battling some demons.
She posted that crazy video like a couple hours before not crazy like she's crazy, but I mean with what happened. She ended up taking her life after she posted that video. It was like her breaking down, and then, 2 hours later?
I mean, she's been talking about killing herself for a couple of years because her son committed suicide. So, that's just a dangerous thing. She just didn't want to go
When did her son pass?
I think that he was like... I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Damn. And he took his life?
Maybe not that long ago. Maybe 2 years ago. It was recent when he did it.
She's been pretty depressed and outspoken about it though for a long time, hasn't she?
Yeah, ever since he did it, she was. He was
17.
Really?
Someone said in my chat. Yeah.
Yeah, he was young.
Damn. Man.
She was famous for ripping up the picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live, and that kind of like weirdly.
That took her career in a completely different.
Yeah, it kind of reminded her that, or not reminded, just took her. I don't know, just in a weird path for her career. The funny thing about it, or not the funny thing, but. Her most favorite song, or her most famous song, was written by Prince. The Nothing Compares to You was written by Prince, and Prince tried to. He recorded it at some point, and it was like part of his whole deal. And then he was just like, "Nah, this doesn't really fit me. Here, you want it?"
Did you hear the accusations that Sinead said about Prince?
What's that? No, what?
That he was very abusive and would I don't want to put words. Go watch the clip. Google it. She was on being interviewed, and she said this, and the people interviewing her just kind of went whoop, and basically that he chased her around when she went over to his place to record, and chased her around a car and was trying to strangle her. And like it was pretty.
Was he like, come on over here, come over, record this album?
It was pretty like you weren't expecting this in the interview, but then she just kept going and spilling the tea, and it was like, holy shit.
No, I didn't know.
Really?
I need to read more a little bit about it.
Yeah, check that out. I don't know if you can Google it if it's.
I know that she was kind of connected to U2 because of their Irish background, and they did a bunch of albums together, or side projects together. But
anything ever play on the radio that they did?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think that most of that stuff was. She worked with a whole bunch of artists, but that whole thing with the Pope, nobody really wanted to touch her after that. That was just
she got blackballed.
She got blackballed through that whole deal, and it was just weird for her career after that.
What was she, 18 when she did that? 18 or 19, I think.
I don't know. It came out when I was in.
We were probably both watching it live on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I was watching that live. I think it was. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was. I'm trying to think. Nothing Compares to You came out when I was like 7th or 8th grade.
It's got to be like 89, 88, 87, 88, 89.
I want to say later than that. I think it was early 90s because I think I was in high school. I think it was like 91 or 92, but when she ripped it up. But after that, she was just like nothing. nobody really wanted to be around her or do any of that.
I wonder how big she would, if that wouldn't have happened and she wouldn't have been put on the blacklist, what would she have just exploded? Like,
probably. I think she would have been very, very popular if she didn't do that.
She was really pretty popular still, wasn't she? Just
yeah. Maybe. I think. I don't know. I think that
Michelle said October 16th, 1992. You were correct.
I said yeah. Close.
So that means I was 6th grade.
Wow.
No, because we're a little closer. You say you were a freshman?
Yeah.
So I was probably 7th grade.
Sophomore, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. October? That's funny because I remember October 18th was a Sunday, and I went to the U2 concert it might have been sophomore year.
Socks was 1.
Come here, you little bitch.
Look at this.
Come here, you little crouch.
Ripping it up.
Look at this. That's ripping the Pope up, you little crouch goblin. Speaking of some sort of Vegas news, I saw that Steve Wynn, the Las Vegas casino mogul, settles his fight over sexual misconduct claims. He was in a huge battle with the Nevada gaming regulators.
You said a sexual misconduct?
Yeah, that he had sexual misconduct. But what he ended up doing was it was workplace misconduct, and he ended up just paying him $10 million. I mean, what's $10 million to that guy? Just pay it and make it go away. He just fought and fought and fought and fought and fought.
Wonder if he did it.
Well,
I
don't know. I mean,
if you're gonna fight it.
So with that, he's no longer the owner of all of his casinos. He can only have like a certain amount of ownership. So I think that's might have been when he was fighting it. I think he can have like less than 10%. So what happened was the lawsuit was failure to exercise discretion and sound judgment to prevent incidents that have reflected negative on the gaming industry.
Okay.
So maybe things were going on there that people were commenting on, and he didn't do anything about it. I don't know what what the sitch was on that.
What about the Lizzo lawsuit? Is she?
I was just gonna say that was weird.
Is she like fat shaming people?
No, well, I think she was like sexually harassing people. She was making
and
people do weird things with
like she's just
bananas.
I didn't hear that part. Oh shit! I saw like the more professional article, I guess.
Yeah, she was like in I can't remember, Sweden or somewhere, and she was making these girls
Baby Blue,
do all sorts of weird things with bananas and.
Oh crap! Man.
I think it's pretty funny because it's like Ariana Grande was going through all of this hugely horrible press at the beginning of the week, and then Lizzo's people are like, wait, listen to what we've got on Lizzo.
What was up with Grande?
It had something to do with her husband, I think. I'm not exactly sure. It's not her husband, her boyfriend.
Baby Blue, eating bananas out of dancers' hoo-haws.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about Lizzo. Okay, sorry.
I'm not a big banana fan. It's just interesting. The more you peel back about all these folks, they're not.
The peel.
Yeah, pun intended.
Man. I bet if you took whoever your number one celebrity crush or who you look up to, you wouldn't want to know what they do behind closed doors. Not sexual. I'm talking about just as a person. You'd probably be very, very disappointed.
Yeah, I think that, that's why they always say
everybody's got a scandal.
Don't meet your heroes. What's our scandal? We've got to have a scandal. right?
Gotta figure. Yeah, we gotta create.
We got to
one.
find a scandal. And then I'm sure LMS knows, but in LMS news, WNBA's Rakina Williams arrested on domestic violence charges in Las Vegas. Lots going on in Vegas.
I saw Brittany Griner's leaving the team for mental health break.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I can't read the article about Rakina Williams to see what it was. Just felony domestic violence is what she got in trouble for. We need to have LMS chime in on exactly what she did. And then is the NBA Summer League still going on in Vegas?
I think so. It's crazy that I'm happy for betting purposes, but it's crazy how quick NBA is already about to start up again. And
I know,
hockey.
man.
So the Summer League happens. It's like the off season. When did they add that? I never really paid attention to it.
Well, they started to add it. I think they've always had kind of a summer league, but now they've had.
They turned it into something like you can watch on ESPN or something. Or
Yeah, LMS says that girl has 10 felony charges against her for domestic violence, and she said Griner's only taken off 2 games. For
the
mental.
article that must have been clickbait then.
It said that she's
Like taking time off.
she's going away for a while.
Yeah.
Brittany Griner's going away for a while.
Preseason football tomorrow. Yeah, that's about to be a good time sports wise.
The main, it took me almost 2 hours to get to work today. The main vein in Wichita was shut down today over a bomb threat is what.
Did they ever update it?
Nothing was found.
And it was placed at like the abortion clinic?
Yeah, there's an abortion clinic in Kansas, and it's always protested, or Wichita. There's always these people protesting and doing all sorts of weird things out in front of it, and I'm sure they're on high alert, obviously, every time they go to work, and somebody saw what they thought was a bomb or a briefcase that could be something, and then they shut the whole biatch
And you
down.
were back at Webb?
I was stuck underneath a bridge for an hour.
At least you were under the bridge, though.
50 minutes, I did not move. For 50 minutes
Were
underneath
people
that.
trying to turn around?
Yeah, everybody was trying to like back up and go up like that little exit on the right side, but I was a little bit too far down.
Damn.
They had the entire. I thought it was really strange because the other side of traffic was shut down too. So they're like rerouting everybody around.
I mean, that's like 4 miles back.
Yeah, 3 miles. I think it was closed for 3 miles.
I think the alien stuff is just BS.
Yeah, that was
Look at
weird.
this.
That congressional hearing where the guy said, "Yeah, we found matter," and what my wife and I saw, it was super scary stuff.
That's one of my conspiracies. I mean, I think that universe is too big, but I think the government's throwing that around. Hey, look over here. We got aliens. Don't look over here.
Don't watch what we're doing.
Right.
Watch over here. We've got aliens.
Aliens.
I don't know. I just am so over like all that, man. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time.
I mean, if there were aliens, they'd be here all the time.
Well, one guy that I was watching, I think it might have been on TikTok, that I was watching the hearing. They'd ask him a question, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know a lot about that, but I can't say anything in front of the public. But we can go back behind closed doors, and we can really talk about it." But what my wife and I saw, scary.
It all started with that border town. Wasn't it down Texas border town where that the 911 call?
I think it was in Las Vegas, actually, where the
Vegas?
cops showed up
Yeah.
too. The crash.
The
happened.
cop, he actually saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went, and then they went and talked to the kid, and the kid was like, "It was 8 feet tall, and it had big, huge eyes, and I wasn't even gonna get around it."
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I like it. What's your guys' favorite conspiracy theory? Before you died, if you could know 2 things, the truth to 2 things, what would it be?
I'll tell
Number
you,
one for me,
I'll tell you my number one.
Vegas shooter.
Oh, that's
Vegas shooter would be my number one.
I don't know. People will be like, "Oh, who really shot JFK?" Or was George Bush behind the 9/11 towers?
Fire in the Sky was good.
My number one conspiracy theory that I want to know. That I
Let me
wish
guess.
That Jesus would come down and tell me.
Can I guess?
Yes, you're gonna guess it because I talk about it all the time.
Well, hold on. I was gonna say Stevie Wonder being blind.
Stevie Wonder is not blind.
You would spin that one of your two on that?
Yes. And then just walk around and just go,
Yeah.
I knew it! I knew it!
Did I send that video to you and Slot Masters accountant? The one with the Saturday Night Live skit with him and the tennis player and the camera?
I think you, I think you sent it to Joe because I don't know. You might have sent it to me because I remember seeing that and Joe was talking to me about it, but I don't remember watching the video. I need to watch the.
Someone said John Benet Ramsey.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, who killed her? It had to be mom or dad, right?
I don't know much about that. I was young, not paying attention, and I haven't read much about it.
I think it had to be mom or dad.
Why would they have done that?
Who else?
I'm just asking.
I don't know.
I don't know much about it.
Well, they found her in her basement, and she was strangled, and there was a note, and it matched pretty close to what the mom's writing was.
Someone said a neighbor.
It could have been the brother, but the brother was like I think the brother was too young to do
Nicole,
it.
we love shit like this.
I think that we need to get like a big person that knows a lot about conspiracy theories and talk. We need to get a John Benet Ramsey expert on.
And start talking about some ourselves, doing our own research, and then coming back.
And then next time, I'm going to get a Stevie Wonder expert, and the very first person I'm going to call to the stand would be Shaquille O'Neal, who rode down an elevator with him. If you never have seen the Shaquille O'Neal video, I mean, you wouldn't think Shaquille O'Neal is a conspiracy theorist. Would you? He rode down in an elevator with him, and nobody was.
He calls bullshit. He'll come out and tell you how he's thinking. Watch TNT NBA with him on it, man. It's great. What did he say?
It was only Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder was. I can't remember. It was only them on the elevator, and very quick to one of them getting on the elevator, Stevie goes, "Hey, what's up, Shaq?" And then Shaq looked at Stevie Wonder and goes, "How the did he know that I was on this elevator?" And then you also have to watch the other video that's a smoking gun is when Paul McCartney is singing and the microphone falls and he catches it. How did he know that microphone was getting ready to fall? There's no way Stevie Wonder's blind.
That's a great one. Okay. We've got Stevie Wonder, Vegas shooter, John Benet, JFK.
Go to the moon. Moon conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, man. I watched Buzz Lightyear today said, a guy was like, yeah, we watched it, blah, blah, blah. And this was on like the Tonight Show, but I can't remember who was interviewing him. And he goes, oh, no, you didn't watch it. We didn't have TV and stuff back then. You just watched a creation of what kind of happened.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't land on the moon.
We landed on the moon.
Oh, okay. Who killed Biggie and Tupac? You know, what just happened? They just raided somewhere in Vegas.
They just raided somebody. Was that in Vegas?
Yeah, it was in Vegas.
And everything that they got pointed towards Puffy, right? Did I read that right?
I haven't read anything. I don't know.
I think that everything that they...
You know Eminem's song, though? Just like the time Puffy, you put the hit out on Pac, or on Biggie, or on Pac, and then he goes like that.
Okay.
I mean, they all think Puffy did it.
So it was in September of 96-ish. September? Anyway, that's how long ago this murder was. And they just did a search warrant I got it here, for a 1996 drive-by shooting that killed the rapper.
I mean, are they really actively investigating, or was it reopened for a certain reason? I mean, Jesus, that's
It's an ongoing homicide.
30 years.
Henderson, Nevada is where it was. That's just outside of Vegas. It's where the M Casino is. Part of the ongoing homicide, the search was issued for Dwayne Keith Davis, a.k.a. Keefy D, who is 60, one of the said 2 living eyewitnesses to the shooting. Articles about items seized by the police, connection with a decades-old case, a search warrant listed a Vibe magazine on Tupac. Addition to the magazine articles retrieved from the home, computers, hard drives, pictures of the 90s, a copy of Davis's book, Compton Street Legend. That was on the 20th of July that this guy got raided.
Has it been cricket since?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about it. I think the evidence is now being presented to the Las Vegas grand jury. So maybe they may think this guy, if he didn't do it, maybe had something to do with it.
Is he gonna rat?
But something that he's always said is, he's like in a bunch of videos. He's been in like a bunch of things talked about how much he hated Biggie and how, I just think the whole thing was, it's either Suge Knight had something to do with it.
Yeah, I was going to say Suge Knight. I thought.
Or Puff Daddy.
Well, Suge Knight went after Biggie, and then Puffy went after Tupac. That's the way I always kind of took it in, but...
Yeah, I mean, those somehow, in one way, shape, or form, are connected, and I'm not sure how, because those. I think Diddy. I think he is behind it, and I think he got with Suge, but it was probably too close for Suge Knight too. But because Suge, how does he not get shot? Right. That's right. What I was like. How did he not get shot?
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, a big boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that.
Here we go. This is what it's all about, though.
I know that one is
the Vegas shooter gets me, man. I want more from that.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Okay, this is gonna
God,
be
here
good.
we go.
This is gonna be good.
So I like. I don't even know if we want to go down this path, to be 100% honest. But there's no possible way that one dude did that.
No.
There's not.
My theory, I think he was some sort of a gun runner. Deal went bad. And other parties might have escaped from helicopter pads above, whatever. And he kind of got involved with the shootout.
I just think that there's just too many weird things about this guy was all of a sudden allowed to just take all these bags and bags and bags and bags of guns up to his room, and nobody's like, hey, bro, you're by yourself. Why are you taking all these bags?
Right. I mean, you see those videos of him. I mean, they're like big bags that you can carry the type of guns he was using. And where does average Joe get those type of guns that he was using?
And then the other thing that's weird about it was that guy that his name was like Jesus or something that was up there. He was the security guard for Mandalay Bay. He sees them, and then he's like, like this big, huge hero for saving, and then he disappears, and then all of a sudden shows up on the Ellen DeGeneres show and like has like this different story than everything else, and then he disappears again, and then
that was weird,
never to be seen again. It's just it's very strange to me. I think I don't know. I think that whole thing is, you know, and everybody's talking about. Next time I go out there, I'm going to have to like look at the Mandalay Bay. I didn't even want to drive by it because I didn't want to think about it when I was down there the last time.
We'll do it in December.
everybody was talking about how he used a bump stock gun or whatever, and there's no possible way that dude could have fired that many rounds that fast.
No, that was more. Man, he would have had to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Predator or something, or Commando with the 2 guns. Just I mean, yeah, that's.
And then that security guard was shot allegedly by him, but the timeline that he said didn't work out, so there could have been somebody else with him. But dead men tell no tales. He is no longer living. Stephen Paddock, the shooter. But I mean, that dude, I mean, it's a horrible tragedy. You know, it's not like with this conspiracy theory, I believe that people died.
Yeah.
It's not like
we think it's fake.
It's faked, because it's not faked.
No.
People were killed, and I mean, like 500 or 600 people were injured.
God, that is crazy. It was during the Jason Aldean concert.
And the thing about the weird thing about that whole deal was also is go like Google and YouTube Dan Blazarian during that whole deal. He was there. Who I've always
he
thought
was like running through, like telling people,
"Get down! I'm a cop. Give me a gun."
That's right. Like, what are you gonna do? Shoot a handgun up there? No.
I've always thought he was a CIA plant because his dad was involved in that too, and I think the reason that he's where he is because of his dad, and his dad was involved in CIA stuff, and he's like, yeah, give me that,
Just
give me
like,
a gun, I'm a cop.
We all know this about Epstein, but I think he's CIA.
Yeah, I mean, somebody was doing something. I don't know. They had too much info on too many people. And the other thing about it is, or another conspiracy is, you know, I just don't think, like with Kevin Spacey. Did you see that he just got off, or they just dropped that charge? He had, what, 7 or 6 accusers, and every single one of them is dead?
It was 5 or 6. And there's been an accident where the accuser has died, every single one of them. So didn't go to court. He got off scot-free. And these weren't just slap on the wrist charges. He was going to get in some big-ass trouble.
Yeah, he was raping these people. So
Kevin Spacey's a dirty bastard.
In the span of 1 year, it may have been even less than that. Yeah, it's like Chris Brown.
Hey,
he didn't forgive him.
He can dance.
He can really dance.
Come on.
So what if he used Rihanna as a punching bag? That boy can really dance. He is a great dancer.
I mean, look at him. He looks just like Michael Jackson. Cut him some slack.
So what if he used Rihanna's face as a punching bag? Watch him dance. I need to research more on Kevin Spacey, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But in a span of like maybe a year, maybe less than a year, 3 of Kevin Spacey's accusers were dead.
Guys, join our Discord. We can do a
conspiracy channel.
And you can give us some conspiracies, and maybe we can research them and do a segment on the pod.
I just think it's just weird how all of these quote unquote coincidences happen.
I believe in coincidences, but like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
The Denver airport. That's another good one.
The Denver airport is a good conspiracy. If anybody's ever flown into that, go look how weird that place is.
It's like swastikas and shit.
Russ just Russ Factor's in the chat, and he just goes, I want an exact repeat of this show next week, but both of you have to eat an edible first. Maybe, Russ, you can eat the edible and you can talk. That would be...
That'd be great.
Yeah, another one was DB Cooper. I was just reading in the chat. Chris said, what about DB Cooper? DB Cooper, for those of you that don't know, he jumped out of a plane after he robbed... he that was like he hijacked an airline, and it had a whole bunch of money on it, I guess, and then he jumped out the back of the plane allegedly, and
With the money?
He said that he had a bomb and was demanding like $500,000 or something. And
I never heard about that.
he got he said he jumped out of the back of the plane, and then they think he survived. They never found him.
Huh.
That's a pretty good conspiracy.
What about the Malaysia airline?
Yeah, right. Where the hell does that go?
It's like the size of a city block, and it just disappears.
God, yeah. Where'd that go?
I heard that there were. We have to look this up. I heard there were people on there that had trademarks with like Jacob Rothschild, and once they passed, obviously they all went to Rothschild, and it was like hundreds of $1 million of.
I'd totally forgotten about that.
It was on the internet, so it was true. So
yeah, I totally had forgotten about that. Yeah, it's in the ocean, but they never found it.
Tammy said there's a documentary on Netflix, I think, about D.B. Cooper.
Yeah, I watched that like a while ago. I remember seeing that. And
The aliens got him.
that was the thing. Is as Chris said, somebody they found $100 bills that were linked to the money that was on the plane in the woods where he allegedly jumped out, but they never found him anywhere. And they said he hardly had any parachute training. He hardly had anything, and he jumped out of a plane that was going a couple 100 miles an hour out of the back.
I'm sorry, Malaysian Airlines. Where did that go? They can find the Titanic. They can find shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what.
Maybe Ashley's right. Maybe the aliens did get him.
Yeah, Sox. I think the DB Cooper plane took off from Seattle, and he, it was going from Portland, Oregon to Seattle or something like that. So somewhere in between is when he jumped off or something. I can't remember. Maybe it took off from Seattle, and a couple of minutes after it took off, he jumped. I can't remember. There's just so much.
I'm gonna read up on the Malaysian Airlines, and I'm gonna find out what all the rumors are, like the ones I said, and then you pick one and we'll give a report back.
The most logical explanation for that flight is it just crashed in the ocean. However,
You'd still be able to find it, wouldn't you?
When things crash, you normally can find pieces of it, especially when they know they can triangulate exactly where they lost the signal.
Debris.
Debris.
Does the black box get destroyed too? Aren't those things pretty?
Well, that probably immediately sunk to the bottom of the ocean,
But
which
wouldn't
is probably.
it still work?
How is Malaysian Airlines still around?
I wouldn't fly that mug.
It had. Let's see. It was
full, wasn't it?
9 years ago. It was 2014, and it had 227 passengers with 12 crews. So 239 are presumed dead. It says presumed. It's just weird. Where the hell would that go?
I know.
And it wasn't like it was one of the brand new Boeing. It was like one of the 777s.
And it didn't get very far from takeoff, did it?
Let me see. I was watching actually the first half of a video of that, and the pilot was trying to was doing all sorts of weird things on this flight simulator or whatever on his. But he was talking to his wife or girlfriend on the phone, and he was anxiously looking forward to seeing her. It's just really, really weird. And then the part of the documentary I got to is they allegedly found a piece of it, and then some of the people that were the passengers or that were on the family of the passengers were like, "There's no way that was planted." So family members are saying that was planted. That's not.
What up, DHD?
That's not real, but 200 miles northwest of the Penang Island in northwestern Malaysia is how far it was. So, how far is it to 45 minutes? 40 minutes? Is that how long a flight to Kansas City is?
Yeah.
45 minutes. But it's just weird. All that stuff's super weird.
They're looking for that lady too. Do you remember the lady on Twitter who got off the plane saying that motherfucker?
Oh yeah, it's
that
a
motherfucker
devil.
is not real.
He looks like Satan. He doesn't have eyes.
They're trying to find her, and no one can find her.
I know. Where's she at? You figure that somebody would go like interview her and say, "Hey, babe,
What did you see?
But I don't believe most stories. It's like that one story. I'm always like, bullshit.
Always calling bullshit.
I always call bullshit first. Like that story where that girl pulled over on the side of the road and said that she was helping a 4-year-old or a toddler on the side of the highway, and then she disappeared for like 5 days and then ends up at her house. Did you ever see that story?
I mean,
That was a couple weeks ago.
that's yeah.
I was
Who
like,
believes something like that?
Everybody did. Everybody's like, it's a nationwide manhunt. It's a nationwide manhunt. We have got to find, what was her name? Kelsey or something like that. She is missing. She was doing good and on the side of the road. And then cut to 3 days later, we found her. Our family wants, we want our privacy.
Yeah, Tupac, Elvis, Michael Jackson, Prince, they're all still alive. They're chilling on an island.
Carly Russell was that girl's name. Thank you. Yeah, Carly Russell. Her
see
boyfriend
that.
was like on TikTok, and then he was like pulling a race card saying the reason this isn't nationwide news is because she's an African American. And
Oh, she admitted it was a hoax?
yeah, after the fact, she said she made the whole thing up. She was stressed out and didn't want to go to work or some shit like that.
She should get punished.
And then
That was in Kansas City?
no, it was like it was. I want to say like Alabama, maybe.
Yeah, Alabama.
But I was just like, bullshit. When I first saw that, I was like, there's no way. And I was like, the reason that the cops, I mean, I don't know.
I
But
mean, the cop kind of
cops-
has to go through with it.
Yeah, they'd have to say. But the reason that they didn't I think immediately they knew it was bullshit. And they just couldn't prove that it was bullshit for a little bit.
Oh, she got arrested.
Let's see. How
Good.
about the kid that was missing for so many years but was actually at home being abused by mom? I mean, that's those stories like that are.
Those parents.
I mean, those parents deserve whatever's the worst potential torture in the history of torture.
Yep.
If you hurt a kid. And it's like that gymnast doctor. He got stabbed. They were all trying to kill him
Yeah,
in
they
jail.
finally got him.
Did he die?
I
I know they
don't
stabbed him.
know, but
It's like all those people in jail kind of get what's coming to them, which is they just have street justice in jail. It's when I worked in the prison, you'd always know where, like the white collar crime people, where the murderers, where the whatever would sit. And then all the chomos were all sitting in the back corner because nobody wanted to sit with them. They'd always, you'd always have to watch them most because the rest of the general population wanted to kill them first.
literally, yeah,
Which-
guys, you didn't know that? He's talked about this a lot.
What?
Corey worked in a prison. Corey was a prison vocal.
I worked in the maximum security prison. Yeah, El Dorado Correctional Facility. It is not a place where you want to be
Look up BTK.
or work.
He is there.
My very final day was the day BTK arrived. My very last shift, I got to see BTK in his prison cell.
Stands for bind, torture, kill.
And that dude was
And he would have got away with it if he just didn't get that urge to.
wouldn't have been for those pesky kids. Yeah, he killed what, 8 or 9 people?
Back like
70s and 80s?
Yeah, and
I remember growing up and people would be like, "Oh, you got to make sure the door's locked because BTK is out." And you'd always, what his MO would be is he would show up to the house and he'd cut the phone line or the cable first. So people, because it's like right when cable was initially around, like in the mid-80s.
like you see in the movies where they just go.
Snip.
That's what do you do?
And then he'd get in there and cut the power and phone lines and take care of business, TCB. And, and like in a strange, weird twist is I was actually going to be a police officer. So I had a whole bunch of police hours for reserve officer with one of my friends who was a sergeant at the Park City Police Department. And that's where BTK worked. And the entire time, Gavin...
Animal control, right?
Yeah, I was in pest control. The entire time, Gavin said that he was BTK. The entire time I worked there. And one time, a cow died in the middle of the road, and we had to call BTK at like 3 a.m. And it was like we interrupted what he was getting ready to kill somebody. What is my dog going nuts for? What is up there?
What was your title there? A corrections officer?
Yeah, so basically what I was in charge of is I was in charge of like new inmates coming in. So
cavity searches.
Yeah, cavity searches. Bend over and cough, boys. Somebody had to do it. No, I was in charge of when new inmates would come in. I'd do a whole bunch of research on them before they came in and have them placed. So if you were a convicted felon in the state of Kansas, you'd go to the El Dorado Correctional Facility. Every single male felon to do their sentences would start off in El Dorado. They'd do a whole bunch of checks on them and make sure everything was good. So before they shipped them off to the 10 or 15 other prisons in the state. So I would research on new inmates in the it was called the RDU unit. So the prisoners would come for 3 or 4 days and stay before they were bussed out, like Con Air with Nick Cage, similar to that. But I would just make sure that like no known gang members, opposite gang members were in the same. Like you wouldn't put a Blood and a Crip in the same.
You checking out their MySpace pages?
Yeah, I was trying to get on their top 8 friends list. But yeah, I would just make sure that there were not any incidences in there. And then, some like it's the only maximum security. Well, one of the maximum security prisons. There's Lansing, but it's not as secure as what El Dorado is. So I mean, if you like Death Row was in the El Dorado. So some nights I'd go work that. But I had some connections to a couple of the people that were in there, so they'd try to keep you away or not work with. That was the reason I quit. So just had connections to some folks in there that committed crimes against people I knew.
Yep, they shouldn't be around.
Yeah, those guys should be. I mean, those guys had great lives. They had a color TV and all the mail that you could read. From people that wanted to marry them. It's weird. It's weird all the mail that these people get. That was some of the things I did is I'd read some, not read, but, like scan the mail, make sure people weren't taking drugs in. But I worked from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I would I didn't get to see many of this, like at 6:15 or whatever, or 7 o'clock, that's when all the new prisoners would come in on the bus from wherever they were coming from, so I'd make sure all their cells were ready and stuff like that. So, yeah, I learned 2 things. I learned how to rap working there, and I learned how to play dominoes. It was pretty boring though, but you don't want to be there, man. There was a lot of weird mentally weird folks crazy. There, and there was a couple of times it was like. It was early, it was early 2005, maybe, I can't remember, sometime around there. But, it's kind of, cell phones were a thing, obviously, but they weren't like what they are
flip
now.
Phones, kind of.
So people would sneak those in. We had a couple of like prison guards that were sneaking in stuff for the prisoners. That's like, obviously, they get in deep shit. Yeah. Then after I left, a lady... snuck out a prisoner. She was in charge of like a dog program.
Yeah.
I knew who she was. She snuck the dude out. She like fell in love with this prisoner. So weird. Like the girls there, I mean, I'm guessing men, some of the things that the guards would do with these prisoners. I was like, dude, they're here for a reason.
Yeah. And why are they like, I mean,
I don't know. It was odd. It was odd, but again, it's not a place you want to be or
Doesn't
work.
BTK have a documentary on Netflix?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of documentaries on. There's just one that came out that was like, there's like a 10-part series that breaks down some of the most famous killers. He's like episode 4. Yeah, that's what a lot of the women were. Oh, I can change him. He's really a good guy. Yeah. But this guy, I can't remember. And it was a lot of the nurses and stuff would fall for these.
I mean, those guys that they're just trying to manipulate them.
Right. Because they'd have regular nurses and doctors in there giving medicine and stuff. And I think one girl that I went through training, well, actually, two interesting stories about.
She ended up giving mouth hugs.
Yeah, she did. And she got fired, obviously, and then had a couple. I think she ended up getting probation for the things she did. That was one of the girls I went through with training, and then another guy that I went through training with is like he was going around feeding the inmates, and they have like the little pie hole that you shove the food into.
Yeah.
Like you go through every morning or every night or every time for the maximum security prisoners. They can't leave the cell except to shower and to go to their little pen for an hour.
What was he doing? You say feeding?
He was feeding. So what you do is you'd put the tray, you'd unlock this little like door that's on there, and you open and you push the tray in. And rule numero uno is you never stand in front of it. You never look into it. You never do anything like that because you never know what's going to come out. It could be any bodily fluid or anything like that. But this dummy looked down into the hole and goes, "Hey, you in there?" Next thing you know, he had a shank stuck in his eye.
Gotcha.
Oh God, I don't know why it's funny because it bled a lot and it was messy and we all had to clean it up, and he still has his eye, but he's cross-eyed now.
Just DJS eggs.
Oh God, so I see him every once in a while. Hey bud, how's the eye? Oh God, I'm so dumb. Yeah, so he checked down to look, and I was like watching the video going, what on earth are you doing? Because like I say, you never stand in front of it and you never peek down into it, because it's like right at like your belly button is where like the door is. You just set the trays on there, the inmate takes the trays, you lock it back up, and you're not standing in front of it, because a lot of times they'll throw the food at you too. They don't like the guards in there for the most part, except for the ladies, where they like to make sweet love to the ladies. But
all right, guys, well, tune in.
Next week we've got we'll be announcing. We've got a good guest coming in.
We're also going to do we'll do another challenge Friday night.
Maybe we can go with our wives. Maybe we can challenge our wives. Do you think they'd probably beat us because I don't know.
I mean, would they know what to do though?
That was Jake that said that, ladies, not me.
Hey. I mean, would it be fair?
Oh, these girls don't know what they're doing, and they'll win jackpots, hand pays.
No, but would they? Ashley doesn't. You're in here. Would you feel comfortable, Ashley, if she's still watching? Would you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, and Russ Factor is going to be a guest in October. He's going to come redo our whole design our whole podcast studio. My wife would. I mean, if the only thing that I would have an issue or have a hard time them filming it, so we'd have to give them the tripod.
I don't know if Ashley would be. Maybe she's learned a little bit.
Yeah,
she needs to start watching the videos.
Yeah, start watching. Hey, start picking some.
She'd go straight to the fish game
and probably get a hand pay.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, I think or we could do us versus me and my wife versus you two. We could maybe do that first.
That might be best because of the filming thing.
Yeah, that would be the hardest, is trying to get them to get
We'd have to,
Give him the good tripod all night long.
and then imagine him switching machines with the.
Oh God. Yeah, that might be the issue. I think
We're not local, Miss Britt.
and then next week we've got a good guest coming on, and for 2 weeks we've got a good guest coming on, so we'll be stay tuned for that. We're gonna have the challenges and some in the 2 podcasts that we've done, I haven't even mentioned our sponsor, so why mention it now? That'll be, I'm not sure when we'll go. I've got a pretty big week. Tomorrow night I've got to go to a company party. So Friday night, let's do it Friday, and then Saturday
Yeah.
I've got a family dinner.
Friday works for me.
All right. Well,
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
study up on your conspiracy theory, folks, because we're going to be back with it next weekend. Thank you guys all for listening. Make sure to follow Bubba's Picks 316 on all social media, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on YouTube,
Twitter,
on Twitch. It's not Twitter, it's X.
Oh,
I did, honest to God, did not even know that when you sent me that.
yeah.
I was like, you sent me a link, and I was like, what? Where did this take me? What is X? I thought it was like a
it's pretty dumb.
like a prank or something. I don't. Did you know why he did it?
I don't know if it's true, but I heard him and Zuckerberg have that beef going on.
Yeah.
Heard Zuckerberg had some sort of X thing planned or something. I don't know.
X gonna give it to you.
I don't know.
I don't know either. All right, so we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to all this, the video is going to be posted on YouTube, and the audio is going to be able to be downloaded wherever you listen to podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, wherever you Google, folks.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Or rewatch the live on YouTube.
For sure. All right, we'll see you.
Later.